that we always do. And today's session is on group dynamics. Yes, group dynamics. Every group has what makes that group unique, and that is the group dynamics. Because in every group, we have something special that makes that group different from any other groups. Now, even let's look at ASOC, KNOSC, and SOCSA KNOSC. You see, the social work group and also that of the sociology group, they are all different altogether, and there is something that makes it different. For instance, with social workers, I learned every Tuesday they wear their ASOC Lacoste. That is something they are doing to make their group different from the sociology students. Maybe for them to every Friday they have to wear their Lacoste. So that is what group dynamics. Maybe for social work students, they like maybe organizing seminars, bringing everybody on board to make sure that they update their knowledge. That is what they are doing to make them different. So when we say group dynamics, we are looking at the disparities and the distinctions and also the uniqueness among different groups. What makes you unique? As an individual, we are also uniquely different from each other. Maybe your intelligence makes you unique. That is your dynamics. Maybe your height makes you unique. That is your dynamics. Maybe your complexion makes you unique. That is your dynamics. So when we say group dynamics, what makes a group unique and distinct from the other group? So that is group dynamics. Now let's look here. So we try to define group dynamics here, and we are saying that when we say group dynamics, it refers to the unique qualities that pertains to each group. That is, members with varied individual personalities, role that members play, and so on and so forth. So we can talk of the behaviors of group members. We can even talk of their attitudes and so on and so forth. So when we say group dynamics, what makes this particular group different from the other? So that is what the group dynamics. So talking about group dynamics, we will look at this on these 5 key areas. So we are going to look at it on group development, the group culture, the norm and the power within the group, the size of the group, and also the group composition, who and who comes together to form the group. We also look at the decision-making patterns within the group and also the group functions. So the group culture, the size of the group, the composition of the group, the decision-making patterns within the group, and the roles and responsibilities within groups brings about group dynamics. Because let's say when you come to social work students, their norm, their culture, their composition is different from that of ASOC students, and that is what we call group dynamics. So let's delve into them one after the other. So the first one is group development. Now when we say group development, we are looking at the individual stages that a group goes through. That is group development. Now almost all groups go through 4 key stages of development. So when you set a new group, it has to take time before the group can move on from one phase to another. So when we look at group development, it is one key thing about group dynamics. Now the first stage is when the group displays a strong dependence on the leader. Now in every group, when the group is created for the first time, you realize that everything, the members within the group, they want it to come from the leader. So if the leader says we are meeting this day, everybody is going. And if there is something ongoing on within, let's say, the community or the country, and some of the members feel that they can do something, but then they wouldn't do anything because they are waiting on the leader to initiate something before they all follow. So that is the first stage. So at the first stage of group development, there is always a strong dependence on the leader. Now, members within the group, they always look up to the leader to provide all the directions, all the resources, and also all the needs for the group. So the onus or the responsibility lies on the leader to encourage the members, to support the members, to formulate rules and regulations to guide the activities of the group. So that is what group development, that is the first stage. Now, from the first stage, we move on to the second stage. Now, at this second stage, that is where the group members start asserting themselves. That is when some of the members start to feel confident in themselves. They start to know their right. They start to make sure that no, there are some things we wouldn't wait for the leader to tell us to do. We have to do it ourselves. So that is the second stage. So at the second stage of group development, that is where group members begins to assert themselves. They begin to develop individual or inherent power and also authority to be able to speak for themselves. Do you get it? So it is usually characterized by conflict, power, and control. So maybe for a long time they realize that maybe the leader has been taking them for granted. Now, if anything, even if we go for activity and we are giving resources or money, the leader wants to keep all the money. You don't want to even distribute the money to some of us. Now, if these processes or this behavior goes on and on, it will breed some assertiveness, or it will breed about conflict and even some power dynamics within some of the members. And now, on one fateful day, you realize that maybe they will even come to you at your office and tell you that maybe today we want A, B, C, D. Why? Because now they've realized that they have been cheated for a whole period, and now it is time for them to speak up for themselves. So that is the second stage. And at this stage too, it is also characterized by a whole lot of disagreement, because maybe some of the members will realize that no, even the goals that the leader told us that we've set, upon further reading, we've realized that some of the things are not achievable. So then we need to restructure things again. We need to reset new goals. And this will kind of bring about discussions, conflict, and also disagreements or misunderstanding among group members. So that's the second stage. So the second stage is characterized by conflict, disagreements, power dynamics, because the members start to know their right, they start to be assertive, and they start to talk or speak for themselves. Now, the third stage of group development is what we call the working stage. When we say the working stage, here is when group members carry out its core objective and primary work. So now, at this stage, now the disagreement has occurred at the second stage. Everything has occurred, and now they've sat down to talk about their differences. So at the third stage, we call it the working stage. So here, members develop liking for each other, and they are ready to share ideas and begin to have affection for others. So here, they will settle out their differences, and now they will begin to work together collectively as a team to achieve the goals of the team or of the group. So that is the third stage. Now, the last stage is what we call the separation stage. So that is the fourth stage. So at this stage is when the group members tend to part ways after having achieved their goals. So here, when after evaluation, the group realized that the goal that we've set from the beginning of the year, now the year has come to an end, and everybody or every goal that we set, we've checklist them, and every goal has been achieved. So now it is time for separation. So each and everybody will part ways, will go their way. So that is what we call group development. So group development actually goes through 4 key stages. So the stage 1 is what we call the dependency stage, where group members depend solely on the leader. The stage 2 is what we call the assertive stage, where members begin to know their rights, they begin to speak for themselves, and here it's characterized by conflict, power dynamics, and also control. So that is the second stage of group development. Now, the third stage of group development is called the working stage. So at this stage, that is where the group members have settled out their differences, and now they begin to come together to work together as a team. They begin to share ideas together, like each other, and also come together on board to achieve a common goal. Now, the fourth and the final stage is called the separation stage, and this stage is achieved, or we get to this stage when the group has achieved its goals, and now after evaluation to getting to know that the goals that they set from the beginning of the year, each goal has been achieved, and now it is time for them to dissolve, for them to go their separate way. So these are the 4 stages of group development. All right. Now, at the last stage, that is the separation stage, sometimes it comes with a whole lot of emotional feeling. Why? Now, you see, at first there were a lot of conflicts, but then now that they begin to work together, now they begin to like each other, they share ideas together, they sleep together, they cook together, they eat together as a group. Now there's this kind of strong bond between them. So when the group achieve its goals and they are separating, it kind of creates a whole lot of emotional feelings, like feeling of loss, anger during this separation stage. And now this stage, the worker should be aware that members may need help in dealing with this kind of feelings. So when groups are separating from each other, when it comes to separation stage, it comes with a whole lot of emotions, and that is where we have social workers on board to make sure that these kind of feelings are being dealt with, or they are being dealt with, and they are being addressed, to make sure that each members go back to their various jurisdiction without any form of loss or anything. So the stage model faith groups whose members join and live together. So that's basically about the group development. All right. Now the second group dynamics we will talk about is what we call the group culture. Yes, group culture. Now every group has their own culture. As I was saying, when we talk of ASOC KNUST, ASOC has their own culture. And what is the culture of ASOC? Every blessed Tuesday, the students of social work, they wear their Lacoste, and that is what a culture that they do. So when we talk of group culture, norms and power, all groups are built up on a particular culture, and this culture is made up of shared beliefs, and each member agrees and they conform to the culture of the group. So when we say group culture, we are saying that it refers to the values, the beliefs, and also the customs and tradition that's held in a group by group members. So the kind of beliefs, the kind of customs and traditions that group members exhibit within the group is called a group culture. Now, as I said, when it comes to ASOC, that's Association of Students of Social Work, every blessed Tuesday, they wear their ASOC t-shirt, and that is the group culture. Do you get it? Now, the group culture, we are saying that it affects members' reaction, their interaction within the group, and also with the leader. So whenever there's a culture, the culture affects even the way members behave and the way members want to even interact. Why? Because I'm sure when you come to ASOC KNUST, every Tuesday, once you are a social work student, you are mandated to wear your Lacoste. Maybe on that faithful Tuesday, you have a nice dress that you really want to wear. But then because it is Tuesday, you have no other option than to wear the ASOC t-shirt. Do you get it? And sometimes that is why we are saying that it affects members' reaction and also interaction. Now let's come to norm. When we say norms, norms are something that are unwritten. So they are unwritten expectations or rules that guides our behavior. That is norms. Now the social workers' role here will be able to encourage openness, acceptance, and also divergent views, and willingness to accept mistake. Now in every group, it's made up of what? A divergent group or people. Every group is divergent in nature. Now we have ASOC KNUST. We have people coming from different backgrounds, and we are all doing social work or reading social work. Now there are some norms. And what are norms? So norms are something that are unwritten, and now it is obliged that people might respect to it. Now as a leader, it is your role to encourage openness. Do you get it? Because we all have different culture. So if there is no openness, if there is no acceptance and also willingness to accept one's mistakes, there will always be conflict. So that is one thing that is also very, very crucial for us to know. Okay. Now, the differences in values held by members may pose some difficulties for the group. As I said, because we are all coming from different places, we all have different values, we all have different aspirations, and also different norms. Now, this sometimes it kind of creates some difficulties or challenges within the group, because maybe the tone that one might use, one might see it to be something that is provocative, but then to that person in their culture it is normal. Do you get it? So dealing with people from different backgrounds sometimes it poses a whole lot of difficulties, but then it is the responsibility of the leader to make sure that he creates an enabling environment to accept people for who they are, and also to be allow members to be open to each other. Yes. Now let's go to power. In every group, we have power dynamics within every group, because sometimes there may be some discussions, and some people may agree or disagree to them. Do you get it? And this kind of disagreement sometimes it may lead to conflict. But then it's the role of the leader to make sure that all these disagreements and conflicts are addressed, and the power dynamics within the groups are being addressed. So basically, that is group culture, norms, and power dynamics within the group. All right. Now let's come to group size and composition. Yes, group size and composition. Now, every group has a number of people coming together to form that group. So the size of a group and its composition are the most of the time pre-arranged or established ahead of time, making it difficult for the worker to have any control. Because when you are dealing with, let's say you are only one social worker and you are dealing with a group size of, let's say, 20, you see, it will be very, very difficult for you to control them, because the number of members within the group is way more than you, because you are only one social worker and it's outnumbered you. So whenever even they are doing something, there's disagreement and you are trying to control them, it becomes an issue, because they are more like the number is very huge and you are a sole social worker. So the group size or the size of a group is very, very important in group work practice. So the higher the number of the group, the difficult it becomes to handle them. Okay. So the worker, however, the size and composition of the group in other situations. So sometimes if you want to have an effective group, you need to lay down some ground rules or some requirements so that you set a limit to the membership of the group. So maybe this group, the composition or people who will made up of this group will be A, B, C, D. Are you okay? So first of all, let's talk of the group size before the composition. Now you can set up some limits that for this group we only need 5 members, because you believe that is what your strength and your resources will be able to accommodate. So when you set up this boundary, this rule, that this group, if you want to be part, we want first 10 people or first 10 members who will apply. So when they apply and maybe people also apply after getting the number, you don't need to consider them, because now you set a target that you only needed 10 members for the group, and now you have achieved the 10 members. So first come, first serve. You get it? Because if you want to, let's say, through sympathy or empathy, you want to look on that direction to admit more people, it will pose as a threat to you. So that is one thing that we should look at. So the size of a group is very, very important, because the higher the size of the group, the difficult it becomes to manage them as a facilitator or as a leader. Now let's also talk about the group composition. So with composition, we are looking at who is qualified to be part of the group. Is it for only Christians? Is it for only Muslims? Is it for only social workers? Is it for only first years? Is it for only second years? Is it for only final year students? Is it for only lecturers? So the composition of the group, who is eligible to be part of the group, that is the group composition. You get it? So know who qualifies to be part of the group. Now let's talk of the group size as well. As I said, the group size has an impact on what happens within the group. And if you want to really and effectively address and have control over the group size is very, very important, because if the size are many, it becomes very, very difficult to interact with them, and also to make sure you facilitate them very well. Now the group size usually ranges from 3 to 12 depending on the type of group. You get it? So it's normally ranges from 3 to 12. So sometimes you can have a group of, let's say, 5 members coming together to form the group. That is very, very manageable. Maybe you have 8 members within the group. That is also very, very manageable. Are you okay? So that is the range of the group size. All right. Now, and with the composition to sometimes the age can also be a factor in composition, because you have to also look at which age can you be part of the group. So maybe for this group, if you are less than 18, you cannot be part of the group because it is an adult group. Do you get it? So age is also one key factor in composition. Now, aside age too, composition wise, we can also look at what? Gender. Maybe this group is what? Is for, let's say, girls group. So with girls group, a man, you cannot be part of girls group. Okay, this group is boys group. So with boys group, a lady, you cannot be part of boys group. Are you okay? So gender is also one key aspect of composition. You get it? And even aside gender, we can even also actually look at, let's say, place of residence. Where you are living can also determine if you can be part of the group. Are you okay? So these are, so the age, the gender, the place of residence, religious affiliation. Do you get it? The type of work, that is your occupation. So all this, we can classify all this to be part of the composition. Are you okay? Do you get it? Yes. So they can all be part of the composition. All right. Now let's look at duration. When we say duration here, we are looking at the number of time or the number of sessions that the group should have before they can meet their goal. So how long should we meet within the month? That's the duration. And even within the month, if we are meeting, let's say, twice within the month, on that faithful day of the meeting, how many hours should we spend? That is the duration. So the duration, we are looking at two key things. We are looking at, one, the number of sessions we must have. That is one. And two, the duration, the number of minutes, hours that we must have. Do you get it? So that is the duration. So sometimes, to be able to have a very compactable and also a very flexible group, you need to make sure that when setting up the duration, it should be flexible so that each and every member can have time and join the session and be a beneficiary of the session. Are you okay? Yes. Now let's look at decision making. So with decision making, we are looking at how is decision making goes about. How does it goes about within the group? Are you okay? Is it only done by the leaders within the group, or even members can even have a say in decision making? So with decision making, parting of group to a larger extent determines the success of the group. So if you form a group if you have a group whereby decision making is only dependent on the leaders, now it means that there will be some friction within the group, because members may feel that their views are not heard and their views are not even important. So with decision making, we are saying that some common approaches to the decision making process are, we have consensus decision making. So with consensus, we make sure that every voice of every member within the group are being held, or they are heard. Are you okay? Now we have compromise. Sometimes you see some situations you need to compromise. You need to compromise some situations. So let's say you are in a house with your parents. Now let's say, as a parent, maybe that morning when you wake up in the morning, you say, oh, this evening you want to eat fufu, and now you have your children say, oh, daddy, we want to eat rice. Sometimes you have to compromise. Are you okay? And do what is good for the members. That's the children. So that you compromise. Sometimes we have decision making by majority. So sometimes if you want to vote on something, we just make sure that each member will raise up their hands. They will count. So those who are in favor, or who are in or in favor of that particular assertion on the table or agenda on the table, if we count and more people are in for that agenda, then they win by majority. Sometimes so we do it by rule by an individual. Do you get it? That's also a decision making. And we also have persuasion by the minority. So sometimes those who are smaller groups, sometimes they also want to persuade decision making, because they feel like, no, maybe their views are not heard, or maybe because of what they have. Sometimes, some groups, we have some people who are very, very rich within the group, and these people, they are minority, but then because of the resource that they possess, they want to persuade what the group. So in some groups, we have some rich people within the group, even though the group members is, let's say, like 20, and now we always, there is these two individuals, because of their resources, they want to always make decisions for the group because of their resources. That is persuasion by the minority. All right. Now we also have brainstorming, we have nominal group techniques. So these are all ways in which we can make decisions. Now let's look at group functions and role. Now you see, within every group, there are two types of basic functions that all groups perform. One, so we have task functions and maintenance functions. Now what are task functions? So they are functions that help a group to achieve a common goal. And maintenance function also focuses on helping individual members within the group to meet their needs. So as task function help the group to focus on the goals of the group, the maintenance function also sees to it that individual members within the group achieve their individual goals. So these are the two main functions within the group. So within the group, we have roles and responsibilities that we play within the group. Do you get it? All right. Now let's look at some example of task roles. So some example of the task roles includes, we have instructors, information seekers, opinion seekers, evaluators, elaborators, engineers, recorders, and so on and so forth. So these are all task roles that some members place within the group. Now with the maintenance rule, we have encouragers, we have followers, we have harmonizers, listeners. Sometimes we are all different within the group, and we all have individual goals that we need to meet. So we have these people who are encouragers, to make sure that they encourage people to not to lose focus on their individual goal by only focusing on the group goals. Some people, when they are part of a group, they forget that they have things that they need to achieve for themselves. So they only want to do for the group, forgetting what they want to do for themselves. So these encouragers and listeners are there to make sure that you don't lose sight whilst achieving the group goals. All right. Now let's look at non-functional roles. So non-functional roles, so these are roles performed by members in a group that meet their personal needs. Yes. So we have aggressors, we have blockers, we have dominators, help seekers, confessors. So these are all non-functional roles, and they are roles performed by members in the group that meet their personal needs. Sometimes you might be part of a group, but then sometimes maybe you want to be used as, let's say, a scapegoat. Are you okay? Or you want to be used as somebody, or let's say a lab rat, to help members understand certain things within the group. Are you okay? So there are roles performed by members in the group that meet their personal needs. So even though every group has the group goals, but then the individual within the group too, you also have an individual needs that needs to be met. Yes. So that is the non-functional roles. So he said other non-functional roles include scapegoats, deviant members, defensive members, quiet members, and also internal leader. So within some groups too, we have some people who are deviant. For them, they don't want to agree, like anything that the group are in support of, they are at the opposite end of it. Are you okay? And these are also non-functional roles that people play. All right. Now let's look at some micro skills in groups. So some of the micro skills for group practice includes skills for building relationship. So in group work, you have to have these micro skills. So you need to have a skill of showing warmth, skill of showing empathy, skill of showing genuineness. You also have attendance skills like using your eye contact, your facial expression, your body position. You need to understand these non-verbal behaviors of your other group members, and these are all some micro skills that you must have. You having skill of warmth, empathy, genuineness, and so on and so forth, and even interviewing skills. Yes, so you should have the skill of interviewing, and with interviewing, we are looking at the skill of encouraging. That encourages them, paraphrases, and also clarifying. Sometimes if you are talking to somebody, you need to clarify them some things. You need to know how to probe to be able to understand certain things. Are you okay? So that is what this point is trying to say. All right. Now let's look at some task and treatment group skills. Yes. So within the group, the social worker working with groups is required to employ some underlisted skills, whether working with treatment or task group. So as a social worker, you need to have a conflict resolution skills, because within the group, definitely there will be misunderstanding and disagreement. So you need to have these skills to be able to mediate and resolve some conflicts within the group. You should have a skill of team building. You should be able to build members around you to achieve a common goal. Yes, so a skill of consultation and coordination. You need to be able to have a coordination skill to be able to coordinate members when the need arise. Yes. All right. Now, all these skills here, that's conflict resolution to the using of structure, they have been explained one after the other. Yes, as I said, in every group there is what? There is misunderstanding. So as a social worker, you should have the skill of recognizing the conflicts within the group. So sometimes even their body gestures, their non-verbal behavior should tell you that no, this group at first it wasn't like this, but now it seems their body language is not okay to me. It seems there might be something. Are you okay? So that is also some of the skills that you must have as a social worker. Yes. So we have win-lose and win-win situations. So sometimes, one strategy for managing conflict is to recognize when a win-lose situation starts emerging. So with competition usually results in win-lose situation. So some successful strategies in addressing this situation include, sometimes, when two parties within the group they are fighting, you don't need to take sides. You have to be able to make sure that you are an active listener. So listen to both parties and don't take sides. Listen to them attentively. Then when they are done, you need to identify goals to cut across their differences. And after doing that, you need to evaluate the solutions of what you've gathered, the information you've gathered, and make sure that you seek agreement from each other to make concessions. So you don't need to maybe go and meet somebody without no. If you do that, some party might feel that you are taking sides or you are not in favor of them. So make sure that you know how to manage and win-lose situation and also and win-win situation. So in a win-lose situation, make sure that as you come in as a social worker, you are able to create an equal platform so that each party wins. So that is the win-win situation. All right. So we have a scale of modeling and coaching. Yes, you should be able to be used as a role model for members to follow. Yes, so as a leader, you should know how to behave. You shouldn't be a leader who want to take advantage of the members within the group. No, know how to behave and know how to put up some behavior so that in doing so, it helps the members to learn from you. And also you should know how to teach the members new skills to be able to model their behavior that you think man is not good for the group members. Yes, so you have to also do that as well. So as a leader, you need to be what? You need to be an observer to be able to observe the behaviors of the clients, of the group members, and you also have to be able to be a motivator. Yes, so motivate them. These are people, they have a very fine, they are very fine prospects. They have a very fine visions that they want to pursue, but along the line, sometimes they fall back. And when they fall back, that is where you come in to motivate them to achieve their goals. Are you okay? You need to be able to coach them. Yes, so coach them well, direct them where they are falling short. Make sure you correct them where they are not doing well. Make sure you be on top of them for them to correct their mistakes to be able to become a better person in the future. So that is it. Now we have team building. Yes, as a team leader, as a social worker, you need to be able to bring members along to improve team performances. Okay, so team building will take place when the team has a strong organizational support. So there's resources available, and the resource can be what? We have human resources, we have capital resources, we have natural resources, we have financial resources. When there are resources, the team building becomes very, very easy. Are you okay? And now one key aspect of team building is that you need to make sure that you share roles and responsibilities to members. So when we all have roles that we are playing, it brings about solidarity and also cohesion among the members within the group. All right. So sometimes too, when you come to team building, you don't need to be superior, and you don't also need to be someone who is coercive or persuasive. No, you need to make sure that in every decision you consult all the members so that they will feel heard and they will feel involved in everything that is going on within the group. And in that matter, whatever they are doing, they will do it with passion and they will do it with great zeal to be able to achieve the group goals. We have confrontation. Yes, confrontation. So sometimes in group, definitely, because we all have our differences, it will come. So sometimes it is comforting. However, sometimes it can be very, very discomforting in a group. Are you okay? Some individual, maybe in one-on-one situation, the worker must be prepared to use it. So an issue that may require confrontation within the group is a discrepancy that occurs. So sometimes group members must be able to confront other members who fail to carry out their tasks. So we've all shared responsibilities that, okay, today you are the one who is sweeping the compound, and now the day comes and the person did not sweep the compound. No, you don't need to let it slide. You need to confront them to get to know why didn't you sweep the compound. Because if you leave it like that, other members will also learn that, oh, even Akosia didn't even sweep the compound and the leader didn't say anything. So me too, I will do the same thing. You get it? So where necessary, you need to confront members to keep them on their toes. You get it? Yeah. We have consultation. Sometimes you need to do consultation. You need to learn how to negotiate. You need to also learn how to provide new ideas within the groups. Are you okay? So sometimes maybe the group members there's something that they want to provide. Are you okay? So social workers can play the role of consultation by providing group members with the needed information. So if you want to do something for the group, at least sometimes you need to go and seek for that information, consult to get the knowledge to be able to come and update the group by giving them feedback from your engagement with that particular company. So sometimes we do consultation to provide community with services and also strategies on how to negotiate themselves or their ways from problems that they might find themselves in. So that is it. All right. Now with consultation, we have two forms of consultations. We have case consultation and also program consultation. So when we say case consultation, is where consultation is provided to a group on how to support or work with the client. Yes. So sometimes you have to do consultation to get to know how you can work with a client, and that is what we call a case consultation. We have program consultation, and with this one, the consultant works with the staff, the supervisors, and also on how to improve services. Sometimes maybe you go to an agency where you feel like what they are doing is not meeting the needs of the clients coming there. You can do a program consultation to revive and also renew some policies and programs to be able to meet the needs of the clients. All right. Now we have coordination. Yes, you need to be able to coordinate. Workers combine both collaboration and teamwork to coordinate. So sometimes you need to be able to be a good coordinator. So coordination is important when the service provider have diverse professional background. So to be a successful social worker, you must value the service provided by other collaborators. So maybe you are working for a client, and that issue that you are working on, you need let's say someone who is a psychologist. You need somebody who is maybe from the science department, somebody who is a sociologist, somebody who is a geographer. You get it? Now you need to be able to be a good coordinator to bring all these people on board. Are you okay? So for instance, let's say we are having Aswak Week celebration. Now we will need guest speakers, we will need food vendors, we will need designers. So as someone who is in charge of the program should be a good coordinator to be able to coordinate and bring upon all these people to make sure that the program becomes a success. So that is coordination. All right. Now let's come to using structure. So this refers to the systematic planning of events and activities. Yes, to be able to have the good or the best out of any event, you need to have a good structure, because without a good structure, you wouldn't be able to have a good activity or event. So you need to have a good structure to be able to meet timelines, to be able to meet meetings agenda, to be able to meet the goals that you've set for a particular activity. So with good structure, it helps members to meet their time schedule. It also helps members to also meet their meeting schedules, and so on and so forth. So structuring as a term in social group work, structuring as a term in social group work help all members to remain focused on their tasks, because you know that, okay, today I am going here, tomorrow I am doing this, the next day I am doing that. That's a group structure. Yes. So basically, that is what we call, that brings us to the end of this presentation on group dynamics. So group dynamics is very, very important in group work process. And as I said, with group dynamics, we are looking at several things. The first one is why we are looking at group development. The second one is the group culture, norms and power. The third one is the size and composition of the group. Then the fourth one is decision-making patterns within the group. And finally, we look at what? The group functions and also the roles within the group. So these come together to help us understand what we call group dynamics. What make this group different or unique from this other group. That is what we call group dynamics. So until then, you end here. If you have any question, please, you can drop it at the comment section. And if you have any additions to, you can also add it. So we all read to update our knowledge. Thank you. We'll meet again for our next session. Bye-bye. And make sure you do well to like the session when you are watching. Make sure you like. If there's anything that you want to comment, you can also comment as well. Make sure you share with others for them to also update their knowledge.